Hello, and welcome to Wolf's Words, a series of informational videos about parental school choice brought to you by Conduit News. I'm your host, Dr. Patrick Wolf. We sometimes hear people say that private school choice is a dangerous departure from traditional public schooling that is untested and whose effects are unknown and uncertain and frightening. I think it's kind of strange when I hear that these days, because for the past 20 years, I have been studying private school choice programs across the country and around the world. In fact, I have authored or co-authored over 100 reports, scientific journal articles, and book chapters about what happens to students, parents, schools, and communities when parents are given private schooling options through various programs. Of course, private schooling has been around for a long time. Many parents have paid out of pocket for the private schooling of their children if they think the private school will be a good fit for the child's needs. Here in Arkansas, about 30,000 students are attending one of 200 private schools in the state. That's about 6% of the school-age population. But private schooling, when paid for by families, is rather limited as a school choice. First of all, it makes it difficult for low-income families to have this option. And secondly, there are serious cost challenges for families paying for private schooling when they already pay their property taxes to support their local public schools. As a result, private school choice is on the decline nationally, where now only 9% of the school-age population is enrolled in private schools. Many private schools have been closing. And as a result, states have been developing ways to support private schooling as an option for families, especially lower income families. These are what we would call private school choice programs. These programs take three distinctive forms: government-funded vouchers, tax credit scholarships, and education savings accounts, or ESAs, which operate much like the flexible spending accounts we use to cover medical expenses or childcare expenses. Arkansas has one private school choice program, the Succeed Scholarship Program, or SSP. This program was sponsored originally by Representative Douglas House and enacted in 2015. It is limited to students with disabilities that affect their learning who also have attended traditional public schools. Currently, 430 students in Arkansas are attending private schools through the Succeed Scholarship Program, but this represents just 0.1% of the total school-age population in the state. That means that Arkansas generally lags other states in the United States in promoting access to private school choice for parents. Nationally, there are 56 private school choice programs in 26 states, plus the District of Columbia and the Territory of Puerto Rico. These programs serve 500,000 students, or about 1% of the total school-age population. So how well are these 500,000 students in private school choice programs served by them? First, let's look at the effect of private school choice programs on the subsequent test scores of participating students. 10 rigorous experimental studies of these programs have found that they have positive effects on student achievement. Another 4 studies have found that they have no significant effects on achievement either way. That is, the test score outcomes for the students exercising private school choice are statistically similar to those of students who remain in traditional public schools. And only 2 studies of private school choice programs, both of the Louisiana Scholarship Program, find that they have a net negative effect on student achievement. But test scores aren't the only things we want for our students. We also want them to graduate from high school, enroll in college, and obtain a college degree, what is generally referred to as educational attainment. And in terms of promoting higher levels of educational attainment, private school choice programs excel. 6 studies have found that private school choice programs promote higher levels of attainment for participating students. And the remaining 2 studies find that they have no significant effect one way or the other. Then there's the question of what happens to the students left behind in traditional public schools when private school choice programs are launched or expanded. This is a well-studied question, and 25 statistical studies have concluded that the test scores of students in traditional public schools go up when those schools are pressured by competition from a new or expanded private school choice program. One additional study found that the test scores neither go up nor down when traditional public schools face pressure from private school choice, and only one study finds that the students left behind in traditional public schools actually score lower as a result of competition from choice. Then there's the question of the civic effects of school choice. Do students who experience private schooling lose out in terms of their civic values and their subsequent citizenship engagement? This is an important question in a democratic republic like the United States. But the evidence here, again, is overwhelmingly in support of private school choice. There have been 56 findings that private schooling has a positive effect on the civic values and civic outcomes of affected students compared to students in traditional public schools. And another 34 studies find that private schools do as well as traditional public schools in promoting civic values and civic involvement. There are only 3 findings in this entire set of 90 of traditional government-run public schools outperforming private schools in promoting civic values. So when you add it all up, you get an overwhelming record of positive effects of private school choice on both participating and non-participating students in the area of student achievement, student attainment, and student civic involvement. All of these benefits come at a lower cost to taxpayers for private school choice programs because the vouchers and scholarships involved always cost less than the per pupil cost of educating a child in the traditional public school system. So private school choice delivers more bang for the buck. Those are my Wolf's words for this session. Thank you for joining me, and I look forward to seeing you again next time when I'll be discussing homeschooling.